Hello and welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour, coming to you from our studio in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mimula Bagudu. Our top stories. Senate passes 2024 Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Bill. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development says government officials and contractors supply only Nigerian airlines. Lagos resident seeks compensation for demolished properties. On the foreign scene, UK government buys back 36,347 military homes to improve housing for forces, families and save taxpayers' bills. We begin with the Senate. The Nigerian Senate has passed the 2014 Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Bill. The passage of the bill followed the consideration of a report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions presented by Committee Chairman Senator Abiru Adetokunbo during Tuesday's plenary session. Senator Adetokunbo, while presenting the report, explained that the bill sought to essentially consolidate various existing legislations regulating the conduct of insurance businesses in Nigeria. The lawmaker listed the legislation to include the Insurance Act 2003, the Marine Insurance Act, the Motor Vehicles Third-Party Insurance Act, the National Insurance Corporation Act, and the Nigerian Reinsurance Corporation Act.
After the public hearing, the committee painstakingly analyzed the presentations made at the public hearing by some key stakeholders, and some of the summary will include that, on the whole, the inputs made on the proposed bill as recommended by the committee for the approval of the Senate will go a long way in providing a comprehensive legal framework for the regulation and supervision of all manner of insurance businesses in Nigeria, in order to ensure that the industry is able to successfully compete on a global level and also improve international competitiveness of Nigeria's insurance industry.
Senators in their contributions raised concerns about the proposed minimum capital required of 4 to 5 billion naira for reinsurance businesses, suggesting the status quo should be maintained due to the current economic situation.
My amendment is that, in view of the fact that subsequent increase in the insurance capital base have been leading to the death of insurance company in Nigeria, and reflective on the economy, I propose that the existing capital base of Nigeria Insurance Company, which is not even backed up by any law so far, should be retained, rather than going to 45 billion at the time.
Are raising, international banks are raising their minimum capital to 500 billion. And we know in other jurisdictions, insurance companies actually own banks. So if we don't have fully capitalized insurance companies, then they will not be able to do the business. And talking about reinsurance companies, yes, we may have only one, Nigerian Re and African Re. Inability to have sufficient capital makes them to reinsure their businesses outside of these countries.
Then international banks, 500 billion. And, I know that banking and this insurance are interrelated. In most climes, Mr. Chairman, and my brother, Senator Jimoh, knows that much more, that insurance companies ought to even be bigger. They ought to be bigger than even banks. Insurance companies actually even own banks because they reinsure banks. So I think that...
Ruling on the passage of the bill, Deputy Senate President Senator Jibrin Barrow, who presided over the plenary, said this bill will help to revolutionize the insurance sector in Nigeria.
Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, the National Insurance Corporation of Nigeria Act Cap 54N, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, the Nigerian Reinsurance Corporation Act Cap N131, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for a comprehensive legal and regulatory framework for insurance business in Nigeria and for related matters 2024, third reading taken and passed. Will really help in reshaping our economy for the better. All over, whatever that has to do with any economy is dynamic. Life changes at all time. Economies change at all time. is therefore incumbent on the authorities of every nation to recraft their legislations to go in tandem with contemporary realities. And this is what has been done by the passage of this legislation. The intent is to restructure the entire ecosystem, insurance ecosystem, in a way that it will go in tandem with contemporary happenings within our economy.
A major objective of the bill is to create a robust legal and regulatory framework for the insurance sector, enabling it to contribute positively to Nigerians' financial landscape. In another development, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has pledged to see the Fly Nigerian Act passed into law during his tenure, ending over 15 years of stagnation since its initial proposal. Speaking at a one-day stakeholders engagement on the legal framework for the Fly Nigerian Bill in Abuja, Keyamo expressed his determination to push the bill forward by rallying major stakeholders. He emphasized the necessity of the law to protect and grow Nigeria's aviation industry. Prominent stakeholders, including the Vice President of the Airline Operations of Nigeria and Chairman of Air Peace, Allen Oyema, alongside the association's spokesperson, Professor Obiora Okonkwo, hailed the move as a significant step towards revitalizing the country's domestic airline industry. The act seeks to mandate government-financed air transportation of personnel, contractors, grantees, and property to be carried exclusively by Nigerian air carriers. Despite its potential to bolster the national aviation sector, the bill has faced delays in materializing into law. Now, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has disclosed that the federal government electricity subsidies payable for December have risen by 2.76% to 199.64 billion naira from the 194.26 billion naira incurred in November. The Commissioner disclosed these in its December 2024 multi-year tariff order posted on its website. It also retained electricity tariffs across all customer categories, while Band A customers continued to pay 209 naira kilowatt. Allowed tariff for customers in Band B to E remain frozen at the rate payable from December 2022. With the policy, the government is expected to pay 29.10 billion naira as subsidies for consumers under Abuja Disco, while consumers under Ikeja Electric would enjoy electricity subsidies of 26.68 billion naira from the government. Now to Edo State, where the State House of Assembly passed a resolution suspending the chairman and vice chairman of the 18 local government councils of the state for 2 months. The House also mandated leaders of the legislative arms to take over leadership of their respective councils. The suspension of the council chairman and their deputies was sequel to a motion moved by the member representing Isan Northeast 1, Isibo Ade, and seconded by the member representing Akoko Edo, Mr. Donald Okogbe. Governor Monday Okpebolo had earlier written a petition to the House over the refusal of the chairman to submit financial records of their local government to the state government. In the letter, the governor, who described the local government chairman's refusal as an act of insubordination and gross misconduct, requested the House to look into the matter. When the matter came up for debate, 14 members supported the motion for the suspension of the local government chairman. 6 lawmakers were opposed to the motion, while 3 members maintained neutrality. We take a pause here. News stories from the build sector are up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. Glad to have you join us on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Now to the build sector. The Ministry of Works, through the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, has awarded a contract for rehabilitating the Abuja-Kefi Expressway after months of lamentations by users of the road. A report made on November 6 detailed how residents expressed their displeasure about the situation of the road and how an Abuja-based resident, Daniel Dafo, embarked on an act of community service, repairing parts of the expressway, specifically between the Nyanya checkpoint and Muhammadu Buhari International Market, using his funds. The Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, Shehu Osidi, advocated for private sector funding in the supply of affordable housing. Osidi made the remarks in his paper titled "The Place of Affordable Mortgages and Private Sector Operations in Catalyzing Housing Demand and Supply," delivered at the 2024 Annual Lecture and Award Ceremony of the Property and Environment Writers Association of Nigeria, P1, with the theme "Resolving the Financial and Regulatory Dilemma to Achieve Renewed Hope Agenda on Housing," held in Lagos. Represented by Oladapo Fakeye, Group Head Strategy, FMBN, Osidi said that Nigeria is faced with a huge population estimated at over 200 billion, growing at about 2.52% per annum. The high urban-rural ratio of about 50% also growing at an astronomical rate of 4.3% per annum, and perennial unfavorable regulatory and macroeconomic factors. The combination of these unfortunate circumstances has resulted in a significant housing gap estimated at millions in the double digits. He cited the 2019 PwC study, which noted that about 75% of the nation's estimated 42 million housing stock falls below the United Nations criteria for permanent human occupation. Now, the African Development Bank Group's Board of Directors approved yesterday the proposal of the bank's management to construct a modern state-of-the-art building to host its headquarters in Côte d'Ivoire commercial capital, Abidjan. The executive directors unanimously approved the proposal, stating it was important for the bank to maintain its strong presence in Abidjan and to invest in a work environment that supports the well-being of its staff. The president of the African Development Bank Group and chairman of the board of directors, Akinwumi Adesina, applauded the decision of the board of directors, terming the decision historic for the staff of the bank, for the bank itself, for Côte d'Ivoire, and for Africa, as it sends a clear message that the African Development Bank, as Africa's premier financial institution, deserves a headquarters befitting its global reputation. In another development, Modern Shelter Systems and Services Limited has announced that the Nasarawa Technology Village has attracted investments of 12 billion naira since the project commenced. This monumental milestone marked the official commencement of the feasibility studies for the Asopada Toll Road. This project will catalyze the development of the tech-driven innovation hub, creating value for investors and transforming lives along the Kefi-Nyanya-Abuja corridor. Commenting on the development, the Chief Executive Officer of Modern Shelter Systems and Services Limited, Abdul Malik Mahdi, said the Asopada Toll Road will serve as the backbone of Modern Shelter's Nasarawa Technology Village, bringing 1,962 homes, a tech incubation center, and more to life. Now, the residents of Agric in Sawo Owotu Road in Ikorodu, Lagos State, are lamenting over failed promises to compensate them for their buildings that were demolished for road reconstruction. Septuagenarian Oladimeji Olawomi complained that nothing has been heard from the authorities over 6 years ago. He also complained that while the compensation may be paid to the affected building owners, inflation has tripled and the value of the compensation. The chairman of the community association known as Alhaji Awul Labi noted that some owners of the affected properties are late, but there are many still expectant of the compensation from the government. The Enugu State government has launched the Enugu State Geographic Information System, ENGIS, a digital platform designed to streamline land title applications and ensure seamless processing within 48 hours. The announcement was contained in a statement by Governor Peter Mbah via his official X account following the official launch of the platform. Governor Mbah described the initiative as a major step towards modernizing land administration and blustering transparency, noting that with ENGIS, land title applications can now be completed entirely online, allowing residents to process titles, conduct searches, and access results conveniently from the comfort of their homes. He emphasized that the new system would eliminate land grabbing, double allocations, unauthorized constructions, and revenue diversion, thereby restoring trust in land management processes. To wrap up Housing TV news at the top of the hour, on the foreign scene, the Ministry of Defense has announced a landmark deal to buy back 36,347 military homes in an effort to improve accommodation for forces families and save taxpayers billions of pounds. The agreement reverses a controversial 1996 sale of military housing and will result in annual savings of £230 million on rent payment. The deal, valued at £5.99 billion, represents significant savings compared to the current market value of the properties, which stands at £10.1 billion. According to the Ministry of Defense, the arrangement will not only end spurring maintenance costs but also enable large-scale redevelopment with plans to build modern, energy-efficient homes across the military estate. That's the much we can take on Housing TV news at the top of the hour. Before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. Senate passes 2024 Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Bill. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development says government officials and contractors to fly only Nigerian airlines. Lagos residents seeks compensations for demolished properties. On the foreign scene, UK government buys back 36,347 military homes to improve housing for forces, families, and save taxpayers billions. For more news in the housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV Africa on all social media platforms. Do not forget to download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store to stay connected and informed. I am Yemina Bagodu. Bye for now.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.